Welcome back to another episode of the Leander Scoop podcast. I am joined today by Steve D'Amico, and he's the owner of Dell's Lemonade. How are you doing, Steve?
Good, DJ. How are you?
Good, good. Stoked to have you.
Thank you.
Excited to learn more about your lemonade business and everything around that. I know we met last week at the Chamber of Commerce, which was a really cool event. All business owners should definitely check them out and consider joining. But yeah, Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and Dell's and give us a background?
For sure. So my name is Steve D'Amico. I live in Cedar Park. Been in Texas for a little over 5 years now. And we moved here originally from the Northeast. I was in the military. I retired from the military. And we left the Northeast, moved down here, during COVID. My wife works as a respiratory therapist. So, it was she was the tip of the spear in regards to, dealing with that. And, once that died down, we back in Rhode Island, we have a treat called Dell's Frozen Lemonade. And it's all natural, soft frozen lemonade. And it's been around for 75 years in Rhode Island, but it dates back to Italy. The original is by the DeLucia family. And the original great-great-grandfather was a lemon farmer in Naples. And what he would do was he would keep all his lemons packed with snow so they would stay fresher in the wintertime. And eventually he started taking, pieces of the rind and the juice and mixing it with cane sugar and fruit and just serving this drink around Naples. And apparently when it came to America in 1940s, his son convinced him to open a business. So they opened the first one in Rhode Island, in Cranston, Rhode Island. And it's essentially like barbecue for Texas. That's what Dell's is to Rhode Island.
Okay.
So it's like everyone knows it. Everybody loves it. There's, I want to say 22 in the smallest state in the nation. So quite a few.
Wow.
Every town, pretty much every city and town has one. So when we came here, we did a couple hot summers of Texas weather, and they have other frozen treats, but I mean, a little prejudice to it, but they don't taste quite the same. When you have a root beer flavored icy, is not quite the same as getting something natural and fresh. So I convinced my wife. I'm like, hey, you know what? We should open a Dell's. So we started planning in 2023. We opened in March of 2024. And basically, yeah, so that's kind of the origin of the business, and we can go into more details as follows. So,
yeah, very, very interesting. So this is tell me a little bit about this. So it's a franchise, and I believe you're the first franchise in the state of Texas. Is that right?
So we're the only franchise. Apparently, this goes back to before my time. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, they had one at Six Flags.
In Dallas?
So, Dallas, Arlington area.
Okay.
Yes, there's one at Six Flags up there, and who knows what happened 30 plus years ago. But there was one here because people would come in and actually tell me, like, oh my God, I went there when I was a little kid. And I was like, so we did some research and found out there was in fact one. So they're also located like North Carolina, South Carolina, Vegas. There's a couple in Florida, and then but essentially we decided to just kind of try and bring this treat to Texas. So
I mean, yeah. So essentially, you knew about this brand because it's based where you lived, and then you moved down here and said, "Hey, why don't I bring this really cool brand down to where I live, where people aren't aware of it because it's awesome."
Exactly. I think like a lot of folks, pardon me, because it's all natural. It's basically cane sugar, fruit, and water. Even the colors are all naturally sourced from different teas and different plants and whatnot. So when moms with kids with allergies, they can take their kids to get a treat and not worry about like, oh, my boy's allergic to this particular dye or this high fructose corn syrup. So there's none of that. So we thought like, you know what, this would be ideal here, trying to be more health conscious, if you will, and it's kind of offering this cool, refreshing, because it's like a soft frozen. So essentially the consistency would be like a soft serve ice cream, but it's like a slushy. It's essentially the same consistency thereabouts of like a 7-Eleven Slurpee, but it's not filled with a ridiculous amount of chemicals that could cause weird things to happen to your body. So
yeah, very interesting. Okay, so tell me, wait, so it's frozen. Do you also have like non-frozen? Is it both?
It's a soft frozen. So essentially, it's a slushy frozen. So essentially, we make it in an ice cream machine. So it comes out in like so we make it in the ice cream maker, and we serve it from a frozen cart. So folks come in, you can use a spoon. Now, funny enough, in Rhode Island, no one uses spoons because we've grown up with it. You kind of sip it and bend the cup. But in Texas, people are learning. So at first, we're like, we're not doing spoons here, but we got requests for spoons now. Everybody wants spoons, so we'll get Texas broken in on that. But yeah, so it's like So it's soft frozen. We have, let's see, we do lemon, watermelon, peach mango, blueberry, cherry, lemon tea, and tangerine orange are our flavors. And, there's always room for more expansion. We have 6 flavors right now because, again, we're just getting ourselves going. So we're not going to
Mhm.
go too crazy
Yeah.
on the different flavors. But it's interesting, too, in the place where they produce it in Rhode Island, I guess the factory, you'd say, they actually have like there's guys and gals in there. There's actually scientists that design all the chemical flavors. So they actually are there. I was surprised to see these doctors in the back, food doctors, whatnot, and they're designing the chemical compounds as far as like what percentage sugar, fruit, and so on and so forth. Um, and there's people there just peeling lemons and slicing watermelons, and it's kind of cool. I'm like, all right, this is the real deal. So
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's really cool. So tell me about your physical presence or situation.
sure.
So you have an actual permanent location, but you also travel as well. Tell me about that.
Correct. So our physical location is in Cedar Park. It's 1525 Cypress Creek Road. Essentially, it's on the corner of Cypress Creek and Lakeline. So if you know
What's it
where
near?
Starbucks is, and there's a Walgreens across the street, and then essentially it's almost like across from the Sprouts Plaza.
Okay.
So or it's right behind Taco Palenque, I'd say. So it's in the
Okay.
plaza with Starbucks. And yeah, we have a brick and mortar there right now because it's March. We're only open Thursday through Sunday, 12 to 6. But obviously, when the summer comes and it's warmer, we're open 7 days a week. But right now, mostly the demand is for the weekends. One thing that adults like to do, because Dell's goes really well with your favorite adult beverages. So if you have your favorite, we cannot sell alcohol, but we can
Hmm.
recommend, mixing in a
Hmm.
little Tito's into the lemon and some tequila into the watermelon and some bourbon into the peach mango. But we have folks come in, they buy or fill refillable cups. We have plastic, like 32-ounce or 20-ounce cups, refillable. They're going off to the golf tournament. They can buy a cup, take it with them. Whatever they do, whatever they want to mix in there is their prerogative. So we
Nice.
also have 2 portable frozen carts. So essentially, they're like said, we wheel them to location, set up the umbrella, and we can serve right from the cart. So we keep them frozen, so everything stays cold and stays nice and fresh for everybody. So
Nice. Okay. So what? Yeah. What type? Where can people find the carts, or
sure,
how are you deciding where to go? Can people request you?
yes,
What's the process there?
certainly. So a lot of things we do are kind of pre-booked in regards to, like, we do Leander Little League games. So whenever we can be there, we're at the Little League games on the weekends, and then we also do Cedar Park Little League games. We do a lot of farmers markets. Our Instagram is at Dells_ATX. And that's where you can find out you can all follow us on Facebook with the same, find out where we're going to be. We try and put out one card at a ball game, one card at a farmer's market. So, for example, next weekend on the 8th, we'll be in Georgetown. And we'll also be in Cedar Park doing Little League. The cool thing is we do cater to a lot of fun events. So last year we had a couple getting married, and one of them from Rhode Island, and had us come to surprise all the Rhode Islanders having Dell's lemonade at this wedding, which is in like I want to say Bee Cave area. So
Oh,
we went
that's
out there,
awesome.
and the relatives were like, he didn't say we were going to be there, and they went crazy. So it was fun. They're like, I can't believe this is really here. Is this a dream? I'm like, nope. So we've done pool parties, country clubs. You know, we don't come out for a birthday party, if you will, but we've done, like, community pool parties where there's 300 people there or whatnot. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So there is a way though. Is it on your website or
absolutely.
something to kind of
Yep.
request, or they just give you a
You
call?
can message us. Yeah, we can message us.
Yeah.
And or you can give us a call. You just look us up online. Our email's there, our website's there, and message us or come in and say hi. Try whatever flavors you want. You have samples available of all of our flavors that we have made for the day, and you know, feel free to try whatever you like and you can also mix half and half too. So if you want like a half lemon, half
Mm,
watermelon, which is very popular, or half blueberry, half peach mango, we do it kind of scoop it. So it's and it's a clear line dividing us to get the 2 different flavors kind of mixed together.
okay. Yeah. Nice. That I'm sure when my kids go over there, they're gonna want as many flavors in one as they can
Yeah.
get. That's how
We,
they like to do it,
yep.
right?
We also
Yeah.
do events like last year we did the Cedar Park 4th of July on the 4th fireworks, which was insane. It was great. And we did apply
Nice.
for Leander this year. Hopefully we can get in. I know there's already people that do food and whatnot, but my defense is that there's nothing else like this in regards to an all natural product that tastes delicious, that, you can give your kids, not have them suffer from pains in their stomach or whatnot. I mean, they may, but it's
Yeah.
not from us.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So so you've been doing this almost exactly a year.
Correct.
Is there anything you can share as far as things you've learned, the positives, maybe negatives, whatever you want to share about opening a franchise in especially from your hometown, your old hometown to your new hometown, right?
Right.
Um,
So
what have you learned in the last year?
we've learned quite a bit. So it was interesting when we did our grand opening last March 1st, and you know, we advertised on Bob FM and a bunch of places, and on the first day we had a line of people waiting outside. The first 15 people got a free 32-ounce cup, and they can you can bring in for discounted refills. And turns out, like, the first 10 people in line were all from Rhode Island, so they walked in and they were like,
Nice.
I'm like, okay, I know you're from Rhode Island. Where, what town? So we started
Hmm.
kind of, and ironically enough, I had two people that grew up in my old neighborhood in Rhode Island that have since moved to Georgetown and Austin, and they met up and they're classmates. And I'm like, I can't believe the three of us are here. Who would have thought X number of years ago we'd all be 2,500 miles away, drinking Dells in Texas. So it was kind of funny. So yeah, so the grand opening was great. The markets are always fun. The events are fun. But I think the hard thing is actually building a steady customer base, because we're an unknown commodity.
Hmm.
So it's essentially, it's interesting. We had we reopened on March 2nd for the year, and the first day was fantastic. It was insane because people missed us, and now people start to know us. They're coming in. And again, it's just a matter of, just us trying to get out there and get the area to know, like, this is Dell's. So I have had a lot more people kind of, when they find out who I am, like, oh my God, I love your lemonade. I'm like, great, spread the word. So
Nice. Yeah, that's really cool. By the way, I forgot to mention, it just occurred to me. My wife is from Rhode Island, or at
oh,
least
very cool.
she was born there and only lived there for a couple of years, so she doesn't
Do,
remember. But
do you recall what town she's from?
no, I'll have to ask her and find out. But I know it's Rhode Island, right? It's not all the towns
It's
are
not
pretty close.
pretty
Yeah,
close, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I spent like 2 months in Rhode Island once for work, so I'm pretty familiar with it as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
we lived down on the coast, so it's beautiful. The only issue being is that you have 3.5, 4 months of fantastic weather, and you have the remainder of the year is frigid, wet, and you're raking
hmm
leaves. So I was like, so the deal we made with my daughter was, listen, we'll go back every summer and visit. We rent the same house every year. She has her friends that she still keeps in touch with. They sleep over the house for a couple of days, and so it's kind of cool. So we go back, visit friends and family, and go in the best part of the year when it's sit on the beach and have a couple cocktails and not worry about any kind of adverse weather.
I mean, that's the best way to do it, right? Go
For
when the
sure.
weatn greather and get out when it
Exactly.
stinks, right?
That's
That's why I
it.
try
That's
not
it.
to try not to complain too much when we have the bad weather here, because I know
Yeah.
it's a lot worse in many places in
Exactly.
the country.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's great. Well, yeah, this has got to be exciting. I mean, are there any plans, either I guess on your part, of expansion, or maybe even the brand themselves? Are they going to look into bringing more people in? Do you have any? I know it's probably early, but any thoughts on the potential for that?
So essentially, we talked about that initially, and we kind of weighed going into Austin City proper itself as opposed to Cedar Park. And even though Austin would be busier, the logistics of getting a business going in Austin, as far as the regulations required, is like probably the same thing
Mhm.
as launching the space shuttle. So I was like, you know
Sadly.
what? Let's just stick to Cedar Park, where
Hmm.
we're part of the chamber. We know the board members. They come by and visit. We chat. So it's kind of, I find it a much more welcoming area, Leander, as well. So it's almost
Hmm.
like we feel at home in these two communities, as opposed to just, again, being another gear in the machine in Austin.
That's
So
right. You're
that's
just yeah.
yeah. So we did initially think, oh, let's do expansion. Let's do expansion. And in your mind you have delusions of grandeur, and you
Hmm.
assume that this is so popular in Rhode Island, it'll take off exactly the same as it would here, which obviously is not the case. I mean, again, we're
Hmm.
doing well, but we're still trying to build that consistent brand recognition. And so we'd like to set up shop somewhere in Leander or Georgetown in the future, but I think two is about all you need. So most folks in back in Rhode Island, they're all individually owned by franchises, and most folks own one. There's occasionally someone will have two, but they're both small towns, kind of small beachside towns that shut down in the wintertime. So it's kind of easy maintenance on them. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think with your business, it's going to be that slow and steady growth where you're just going to get bigger and bigger each year as more and more people become aware, become big fans, right?
yeah,
And
so
that's going to be the process,
for sure. Yeah.
which is good over the long term, right? So that's cool. So, um, remind me what? So, did you say you moved in 2020 or was it 21?
2020. Yep. 2020 we
2020.
came
Okay,
down.
okay, same as me. Um,
There you go.
so what brought you here specifically?
So again, we were looking to get out of Rhode Island. Just originally, we were like, you know, let's keep our house there, and we'll make sure wherever we go, we love. And if we decide we want to go back, we can go back. Or so we kept our house. And initially, our plan was my wife was working as a respiratory therapist as a traveler because we technically were Rhode Island
Mhm.
residents. And after you went back after 9 months and spent the summer there, and we were both kind of like, you know what, this is fun, but I don't need to be here for this long. So it was at the height of the market. We decided to sell our house and decided bought a house down here in Cedar Park. We love our home, and I'm like, I tell my friends, I'm like, you know, I love seeing you guys for a couple of weeks during the year, but that's about all I need. So you can come
That's
visit
enough.
me in January when you're freezing.
Nice. What? So why Cedar Park? Was there any
Oh,
connection here, or?
so we were looking around at places. We looked in Colorado, which I was stationed out there for a while. I've always liked Texas and stationed here a little while too. And my sister-in-law, ironically enough, decided to move to Cedar Park. And I
Mm.
drove down, helped them move from Connecticut to get down here. So I did the ride with them because I literally retired like from the military, like a week or two before they moved.
Oh,
So I'm like, you know what? I'll help you guys out. So I went down. I'm like, I like this place. And I sent my wife down for a week. I'm like, go by yourself. I'll take care of the kid and you go see if you like it. And we got back off the plane. She was like, we're moving there. And so she's loved the areas and that's what kind of so we already had family here. So
yeah,
it was kind of cool.
that's
And
awesome.
again, oddly enough, there are literally four people, no, I'm sorry, three people from my old neighborhood and one other person I went to high school with that live in the area here. Like,
Really?
what are the odds of that? Like literally three
Wow.
people from my neighborhood that like we used to play kickball and wiffle ball together, and they all live, Austin area, if you will. But
Yeah.
so it's a
Wow, that is
small
crazy.
world.
Totally. Totally. Wow. Um, no, that's really cool. I mean, I don't blame you. We feel the same way, right? You kind of come and you realize you kind of get the best of all worlds, at least
Right.
from my perspective, right? There's so much good with again, there's downside to everywhere, but the downside is so small compared to how many upsides there are
Oh, for
to where
sure.
we are. Yeah.
For sure.
So what tell me some things specifically that make you love it so much out here. Whatever that is, whether family,
So
places, location, weather, what makes
the
you love it?
weather's a big factor. I'm not bothered by heat. I think heat is
Same.
fine. I
Same.
grew up in the Northeast where it's humid. I've been in the Middle East where it's treacherous. And so when people are like, it's so hot here, I'm like, you don't really know hot.
Mhm. I
So
agree.
when there's 100% humidity and you're wearing, full uniform, full gear, you're dripping with sweat. So it's all depending what part of the Middle East you're at. Some is very dry, some is not.
Mm.
I love the weather. I love the people too. Everyone's so friendly and welcoming. And I um, I actually play hockey in like Austin, like the lowest level possible, where like a beer league. We're basically the bottom rung of amateur hockey in Austin. So, but I met a
Nice.
lot of great friends that I made through playing hockey with those guys,
That's
and
awesome.
so that kind of built some sense of community. And my daughter rides horses, and that was always her dream. So we got down here. She does horseback riding. So she is friends with that. The schools are great, and the Leander ISD is great. My daughter's in theater. She's a freshman and she loves school, which is funny because that was the exact opposite of myself. So
Yeah.
yeah, and of course,
Nice.
I'm a veteran, so it's kind of the cool sense of very Texas is a very welcoming state for veterans as far as giving you some benefits and whatnot. So yeah, and the food.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Totally. Well, yeah, tell me about the food then. What what places are your go-tos around here?
So essentially, I like Interstellar Barbecue, which is like on 620. It's like super good. I mean, obviously you got to go downtown to you know all the shops downtown in Austin, but there's such always a long line for that. And you know, again, I don't know. I like. There's actually I went to a Mexican restaurant in Cedar Park on Saturday night with my wife and my daughter, and I'm totally drawing a blank. It was a Spanish name, and I'll let you know it was
Hmm.
authentic Mexican, like legit. The furniture was all handmade, Mexican made. Like the food was all everything. He said everything is handmade, and the only exception is the corn tortillas because it's really hard to make hard taco shells on your own. So that was the only thing that was and I regret not remembering the name. So I like that place. I was saying I go to the Oasis for the drinks and the view. The food it is what it is, but great drinks, great view, and then got a lot of different little pubs I go around to, and kind of I like to go downtown every now and again if I can see a comedy show at the Mothership or a comedy show somewhere. So it's always fun too.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I think the one time I tried to go to Interstellar, it was closed. I don't know what the deal was. I know sometimes those barbecue places, they do that, right? It's like, oh, well, we're just out today. So we're just
Well,
closed.
I think sometimes they sell out so
Or
fast
they sell
that
out.
it's
Maybe that
almost
was it.
like, hey, it's 11:45 and we're out. They're like,
Yeah.
we have an empty serving tray and a full wallet, so let's call it a day. So
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's definitely odd. I feel like that's not normal for most restaurants, but barbecue places, it is. I tried to go to Terry Black's downtown last week, and of course, there's nowhere to park. Drove,
right,
I was already in the area, but like that, it's just getting the
yeah,
the great Texas barbecue is harder than it should be, right?
I agree,
But it's
and
because
it's
it's good.
exactly, and that's the thing is a lot of folks come in from out of town and they like want to go to Terry Black's, and I'm like, all right, well, you have to get there early. You're going to wait in a long line, and just just like waiting for whatever a concert tickets back in the day.
Hmm.
So
That's what it's like. That's right. Um, yeah. So tell me what you think about uh, the growth of in the area, right? Like, I think we are in the call it definitely top 5 fastest growing parts of the United States. In some respects, we might be number 1 or number 2.
sure.
Um, and there's a lot of good that comes with that, but there can be a lot of bad. And I know certain people have different feelings, but I'm curious from your perspective how you think about being in such a fast growing area.
So I enjoy the fact that we're an extremely fast growing suburb, if you will. There's not going to be any skyscrapers built in Leander or Cedar Park,
Hmm.
and we won't have to worry about, quote unquote, just overpopulation and just sprawls of buildings and whatnot. I kind of in favor of it because again, you start to get new opportunities, meet new people, do different
Hmm.
things. There's people when businesses come to town. There's a lot of people that are interested to like, oh, let me go try. Maybe it's a restaurant or a martial arts dojo or a go ice skating, if you will. So whatever it may be, there's something for everyone here in Cedar Park and Leander. So, and that's what I told my wife because she was always like, "Oh, it'd be so nice to live, on Port A." I'm like, but it's too far from everything. I mean, it's
Hmm.
beautiful. We'll go visit, but it's just I don't. I mean, I don't really need to drive however many hours back here to see friends and family. So
Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah,
and
totally.
as far as the growth wise, I don't think. I mean, beside the 1431 traffic, that's my only complaint as far as the
Hmm.
growth is concerned, especially on like Friday night. But I think it's only going to help, kind of make this a better place to live as, there's more schools, more homes being built. And Leander in particular is, probably one of the top rising cities in the country, period, standalone.
Hmm.
And it's just because for many years, it was just a lot of just empty land, farmland,
Hmm.
whatnot. And now it's just kind of growing at an exponential rate. So it's really cool to see that happen. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, both of us coming from the business owner perspective, especially more people means, just
for
more
sure.
opportunity in so many ways, right? Not just
Yeah.
like, oh, are you going to get more clients? I mean, hopefully more people come in and buy, but it's more about other businesses coming in, right? And everything expands when we have more quality people coming to town. I think that's good for all of us. And then the key reason that I think it's probably going to get even crazier soon is because of the freeway opening up, right?
Right.
I feel like you're south of that, right? But I'm north of that, so that has a bigger impact on me. But having a freeway that not only goes directly into downtown, practically, I guess you have to split off at the end, but goes right in downtown. It actually the exact same freeway goes directly to the airport, which is kind
Well,
of
yeah,
super weird
that's
because we cut like kind of sideways through Austin, and the same freeway goes right to the airport. And for so many people, the ease of, oh, I can move to Leander or Liberty Hill and I just boom, jump on the freeway. And, assuming I'm not in rush hour, I'm in downtown quickly. That's going to bring a lot of business and people who right now it's just a little too much of a pain,
Right.
right?
I have my
What are your thoughts on
brother-in-law
that?
works for Google downtown, and
Okay.
they have to go in a few times a week, whatever it may be. And he's just like, man, I can really dread the rush hour commute in the morning and in the evening. So like I can understand that. So yeah, I think having the new freeway will make things, again, as you said, so much easier to get in there. They have the rail system, but that's just, you know, it's not really a feasible option, especially if you're
Yeah.
working, it's not like New York City subways, fortunately, but it's not
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
another. It's just kind of,
It's not
if you want to
convenient
get
enough.
off and on the train station, you're good. But beyond that, it's not going to get you where you need to go without an Uber too.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for special events.
Yeah,
I think I've been on it once or twice for maybe it was a South by Southwest, which is coming up. Maybe I'll use it again for South by Southwest. But just random kind of trips. It's kind of fun, but I can't imagine having to deal with it. You know, on a
right.
daily basis for getting to work. That'd be a challenge. Um, so yeah, I mean, when with the freeway opening, then of course the Costco coming in again. You're closer to the Cedar Park one, but I just feel like when that comes in, kind of what we talked about before with more people, right? Like that comes in, well, then there's going to be a ton of businesses that come around Costco to support all the people going to Costco. So
Sure.
now there's more businesses there. More businesses there brings more people to run and work at those businesses. And it just becomes a cycle of just growth and more people. Again, I know there's a negative there, especially certain, people who've been here for maybe 20 years. Maybe they like the empty land, right? But
Right.
I think that, the truth is so much of the population has come in the last 5 years that don't remember that and didn't necessarily come here for that.
No, I agree. I think that, again, my neighbors, they've been here for 45 years,
Oh,
and they love it, but the kids are growing out of the house. They're kind of like, well, we would leave, but our neighborhood is so nice, and everyone, the homes are nice, so they're kind of like, we're just going to stick around here. And even though they used to be able to look out the backyard and they could see hills and woods, and now you look out and you see your neighbor's house. So, but
just homes
that's
everywhere.
it's yeah, I'm okay with having a small yard, especially when you have to mow in Texas. I have a quick, easy
Yeah,
yard to mow as opposed to we used to have like I think 3/4 of an acre, and raking and mowing that, especially with all the leaves falling in New England, was not an enjoyable time of the year. So
totally. Totally. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's definitely an exciting time to be in our area with how much growth we have. Again, freeway opening and then all the freeway widening they're doing too, by the way, which is, further down. I can't
yes,
believe it's already they've added a lane. It looks like they're adding two more. I mean, it's going to be at some point so easy to get down there. It's going to be
it's
awesome.
I was driving to Marble Falls over the weekend, and I saw they started expanding like on 1431. You're heading, and getting it go through see Lago Vista, and I'm like,
Hmm.
they put breakdown lanes here? I don't remember. I had been there in a year or so. I'm like,
Hmm.
I don't remember there being breakdown lanes here in the past. So I know they used to have the slow car turn off, but I was like, it's interesting. So maybe they're expanding that all the way down, all the way to Marble Falls. It's kind of crazy ride, and that ride going down a
Yeah.
single lane at 5:30 in the morning, whatever it may be,
Yeah,
going through the
I
hills like
haven't done
that.
that drive in about 3 years. So yeah, I suspect you're right. They're probably doing a lot there. But yeah, I mean, the construction around where we are is
Oh
just
yeah,
wild. I mean, the freeway is the biggest, but they're adding two more lanes on Ronald Reagan where we live, and Ronald Reagan's going to turn into 8 lanes at some point, which is
wow,
just
really?
great.
That's
I mean,
insane.
that's what they say. Yeah, and then
Wow.
Hero
Now,
Way is going to turn into a highway, or not a
that's
highway, but
crazy.
yeah.
No, I mean, but then again, that's going to allow businesses to thrive with a growing community and people coming there with well paying jobs. They're
Hmm.
not going to come down here for, hey, I'm looking for a job working at the gas station, wherever it may be.
Hmm.
If you do, you're already here. So, but I'm saying like people moving to the area will be coming for well paying jobs or looking to set up a business in a
Yep.
fairly prosperous area. So it'll be kind of a
Yeah.
good
Totally. And
growth for
hopefully
us.
those people starting businesses will come join the chamber and then all of
Yeah,
us can connect and help each other, which we're already doing,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So yeah.
So,
Well, no, this has been great, Steve. I'm really excited for you and your business. I think this is really cool. You're in a great place for it with, the heat and, young families loving dessert, just like mine.
sure.
We need to get over there. We're going to get over there soon. So expect to see us. But
Yeah,
yeah, we appreciate you coming on. So tell everybody how they can find you again. Like just give us where it is again, like what
sure.
that corner was and
Yep,
how they can reach out to you.
absolutely. So our address is 1525 Cypress Creek Road, in Cedar Park, and it's on the corner of Cypress Creek and Lakeline. So essentially, if you're on Lakeline, there's a Starbucks on the corner, and you can pull in the that plaza over there. There's a big yellow sign. The slogan is "Stop at the sign of the lemon." So you'll see it. It's lit up in the nighttime and it's bright yellow in the daytime. We're also, if you know where Sprouts Market is in Cedar Park, we're almost in the Plaza Kitty Corner across the street from them. So you can't, you can Google us, you can't miss us. Our hours right now are 12 to 6, Tuesday, Thursday through Sunday.
Yep.
However, this week on the 5th, we have a ribbon cutting ceremony. So it's our grand reopening. We took January and February off because no one buys lemonade when it's frigid out. So we just kind of closed up shop for 2 months, and we never did an official ribbon cutting ceremony with the chamber. So we have both Leander and Cedar Park Chamber will be there. So if people want to come down, we're gonna have obviously lemonade, and you can meet your fellow chamber members and your chamber council. So it'll be a good time.
Nice. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you, Steve. Thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to you again soon. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you, TJ. Appreciate it.
Of course. All right. Bye.
All the best. Bye now.